episode of mySURFtv, we catch up with world champ Joel Parkinson here in Hawaii. We find out what the talented Flick Palmateer has been up to and talk surfboards with Tyler Warren and Andy Irons. Welcome to mySURFtv, I'm Ronnie Blakey. We've got a very special edition for you here today. We're on the north shore of Oahu. Right behind us we got pipe and backdoor, and right next to me I've got former world champ Joel Parkinson. Parko, great to have you with us, mate.
Thank you.
I know you love coming here to the North Shore every year. It's one of your favourite stops on the schedule, but more importantly, it's just this house that you get to stay in each season. It's mind-blowing.
Thanks to Billabong, we have a great team house right here. I'm right on the spot. You do have your moments in this house where you go, I'm so blessed and thank you so much.
Tell us what you love most about coming to the North Shore each and every year.
For me, being here, you really get in tune with your surfing, because you're staying on the beach, you surf, you pick your times, you pick your windows, and you really do feel like you're a part of the ocean. If you can get that feeling, I guess, anywhere else in the world, it's amazing, but when you get it here, it's special. All right, tell us about your very first trip to Hawaii and what the experience was like. My very first trip to Hawaii, I was 14. It was the morning of the Kelly and Rob Machado high five that year. That was the first experience. My first day of pipe was the year that Kelly and Rob, and Kelly went on and won the contest and won the world title, and that was my first experience. It was still one of the most amazing days. And later that afternoon, after the contest, we went and surfed Waimea. And Jamie O'Brien did the helmet on, and we were like, how's this little kid go? How's he go? And first wave, he paddles out and charged like a 12-footer, and we were just like, wow, you know. I was sitting pretty much on the left at that point. I was so scared. From that day on, you know, I pretty much fell in love with the place. Some amazing surfing experiences for you, some big wins over here. What's your favourite competitive success? Definitely for me, the day that I got to win the world title and the Pipe Masters all in one, that is by far one of my most special moments here. A few Triple Crown titles as well. Away from the water though, you've had some special moments. You mentioned staying in the Billabong house each year as a highlight, but you also were lucky enough that you got to stay with Andy Irons here a bunch of times as well. Andy's room up here, it's definitely really probably emotional sometimes when I walk back in there and think of how many good times we sat out on this porch, and yeah, it gets definitely a bit hard, but you know, I think his spirit's really strong around here. Well, we're going to check out a piece on Andy now. This is courtesy of Billabong and their Boardtail Stories.
Kelly killer one, he called it. It was a merit, and that was, I guess, the board that he beat Kelly a lot on. He had that in his black wetsuit, and Kelly had his white wetsuit, and my brother thought it was like he was Darth Vader, and Kelly was
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker, the good, you know, and my brother was Vader, the dark. Coming down the pipeline, I remember Andy had a sore stomach. He's getting ready for the final, he's stretching, and Kelly comes up and pats him and says,
"Oh yeah, that one."
That was dramatic. Kind of crazy to watch too, because there's someone when they come in from the water after that, there's someone that's going to be so happy, and someone's
going to be so devastated.
You feel like
you see
both emotions. The jersey they're from Sunset, we had a final.
Oh yeah, Sunset.
Hockey, remember? We all wanted hockey to win, remember?
Yeah.
And then Andy got
Hockey was in the final too?
Yeah.
Sick.
Hockey, we all wanted hockey was winning, and I was like, we're not going to catch a wave, we're going to let hockey win.
And then there's a rager that night.
Yeah. Andy went left, and at Sunset.
And that's how he got the score.
He got tubed on left and got a score and beat Hockey. And I was in second, Hockey was winning, your brother was in third. And
then what, you got away with?
And then, no, I didn't get away because I was like,
Occy got second.
We're letting Occy win. And so Occy got second, I got third, and your brother went from third to first. And snatched everyone. You can't go left at sunset and beat Occy.
Yeah, me and my brother, we used to golf a little bit.
Yeah.
He gave you credit card? Yeah. Look at this.
Out of all the pictures in here in the whole garage, Andy put this up with these because this is his favorite photo that Grant Ellis took. His favorite photo.
Oh yeah, he smoked me. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm so stoked to be in the final. He's like,
is
oh
he in
yeah,
red?
we'll talk after the contest is over.
Is that the jersey that he wore?
No, it's magenta. He was on a roll and I was struggling first year on tour. And I was like, yeah, I'm so stoked to be in the final. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm still getting first priority with the first set, the first wave, and we'll talk. He wasn't going to be settled until he has comboed. He didn't combo me, but close to it. Yeah, it's a good one, huh?
Yeah.
Boost, yep, Red Bull.
Don't go anywhere because we'll have more with Parko after the break, and we'll also check out the young Californian Tyler Warren. Thanks for staying with us. We're still here with Parko and Parko. We've been checking out some of the different team riders in the Billabong stable, and one of them I don't know too much about, but Tyler Warren is a kid that you've had a bit to do with.
I've had quite a few trips with Tyler. Amazing guy and a great surfer and a really good shaper too. I was actually lucky enough to grab one of his boards on a recent trip to New Zealand, and he has some pretty interesting and different crafts, and yeah, he rips on them.
You're obviously always working on really refined equipment, so it must be fun to have a friend shape a board for you and get out there and do something different.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of my greatest things. I love to have a little quiver of all sorts of some different stuff. You know, it's great to ride your everyday shortboard, but to have something, especially where we live in great little fun waves, you know, had to have something really fun and interesting.
Beautiful. Let's check out Tyler Warren in Board Tales.
This was my first board ever. I got for my birthday when I was about 9 or 10, I think. It's a Bruce Jones twin fin, probably from 1979 or 80, I think. Got some foam fins and fiberglass and these bitchin' kind of curved channels. Pretty epic airbrush. I mean, when I first learned to surf, I was riding a Doheny when I was like this big, but I actually rode it in some contests, like this Wind and Sea event at San Miguel. Then I've taken it to lowers. Yeah, it's a super fun board. Super beefy, but it's a pretty epic first board. I ride twin fins a lot nowadays and been putting channels and swallowtails on my boards lately, so maybe it like subconsciously inspired me to make fishes and twin fins and channel bottoms and stuff. That's my first board. This board's probably one of the most sentimental boards. Is the last board that Terry Martin made me. Solid balsa, and we actually shaped it together. This was kind of like a legacy model, or that was the name of the shape, which was kind of based off like a Lance Carson. But I remember like taking Terry out to lunch. We walked to the sushi restaurant in town, and he, like while we were eating lunch, he like took off his hat and pulled out some of his hair because he was going through chemo, and he was like, oh yeah, this is probably the last time you'll see me with like full head of hair. So it was pretty heavy. But he was big inspiration and shaping for me. And I mean, he shaped a bunch of boards for me, but I'd watch him and design them with him. And he was really kind of instrumental in kind of the roots of shaping. And he's probably hand-shaped more boards than anybody. I think it was estimated around 80,000 boards in his lifetime. So this board is kind of a board I always had wanted since I was about 14, because I'd see like Joel Tudor ride them in surf movies and stuff, and I used to try to get my Hobies kind of shaped like them. And then my friend Brendan White was like, oh, you want a Model T? Like I can, you know, have Donald make you one. So I put the order in and waited a couple months, and he made like this batch of boards. He made one for Brendan and Tommy Witt and a few of my friends that ride for Donald. And right after he made this one, he actually passed away, so I think this was kind of one of the last batches of boards he shaped. It was still like at the glass shop when he passed away, but this was kind of another bummer of a story. But he was like probably one of the best longboard shapers to exist, I'd say. And he was a really good surfer too, from Hawaii. This board is a board that Malcolm Campbell made me in his backyard. The guy that started the Bonders boards with him and his brother in like 1970, but he shaped me this kind of based off one of the old ones. And this one's 5'4", and it's kind of like a fishy Bonzer. I think this model's kind of like the Bumblebee. I took it to Morocco and actually got one of the longest barrels of my life on it. This board was, I think, the 12th board I ever shaped. I made it in like 2009, it says. But it's kind of like when I really started getting the stoke of shaping and doing it. Yeah, I rode a lot of different waves on this board: beach breaks, points, tubes. It's a pretty tiny little board. I think it's 410.5, based off the Simmons theory, and then kind of got dubbed the bar soap after I rode it. My friend's like, that thing looks like a bar soap. Yeah, when I was riding it. This design's pretty popular around these days, or a lot of, and even in shortboard designs, they kind of morphed into like wider tails and wider boards. But yeah, so I made this, 7 years ago. You kind of like try one thing and then you move on to the next, and kind of, it's fun just to feel all the different feelings that a board could have, you know? And, you know, just fin placement or what kind of fins you're putting on there all affects the ride and makes it interesting, and it kind of like creates new stoke in surfing to like have something new to ride, and they all work. It's just a matter of timing it right, I guess.
Amazing footage there of Tyler. Joel, mate, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Ron.
Great to see you. Good luck with your world title campaign in 2017, buddy.
Thank you.
Well, don't go anywhere, because after the break, we're going to be checking in with Australia's newest big wave hero, Flick Palmateer. Welcome back to the show. Time to change things up a little bit. We're going to have a talk with Flick Palmateer.
Dude, I can't remember the last time I got on a plane without a surfboard. I don't even know if that's actually ever happened. I've had some amazing opportunities with Billabongs. I've been with them now for 10 years. I've been with them since I was like 12, and it's just been incredible. Like, I've just gone to the most amazing places that I thought I'd never really go to. I went to Japan, and I love Japanese food, and I studied Japanese. I can only say like one sentence, and that's what's your phone number. Demo bango wa nanban desu ka? I rode a camel on the beach in Morocco with my surfboard. That was pretty cool. I just went to Moorea this year for the second time, and that's absolutely beautiful. We went and swam with humpback whales, actually, and that was like one of the, I was going to say that's the best thing I've done this year. And then until like 3 weeks later, I went to Jaws and did that. So they're the two best things I've done this year. can you imagine, like it draws off this reef and it actually throws out, and I was just like, you're paddling in blind and just hoping for the best, really. I was anyway. It's the most nervous I've ever been in my life, and I remember I was like, you just gotta breathe, just gotta calm down. I mean, I grew up in Western Australia, and that's renowned for bigger waves. Last year, when that swell hit there, I thought it was probably a good time to give it a crack, and it's my home state in Australia, so I was like, you know what, like I'm familiar with the surroundings, and all the boys were they looked after me out there, but yeah, it's a totally different ball game towing to actually paddling into the wave. I'm always doing lots of art, especially now. I've had like a couple of weeks just to myself, so it's been nice just to paint and just feel creative again. And I've been working on actually a limited edition label for nudie. I did a mural in Bondi for World Oceans Day for the Marine Stewardship Council, just to create awareness about that, and that was really fun on the promenade there in Bondi. I just want to kind of be doing everything. I mean, I don't want to just be big wave surfing or small wave or competitive or whatever. I mean, I just want to learn to ride every board and just go out there and have fun and go play on a log out at the pass of Byron Bay. I mean, I'm going to definitely give the QS a crack at the start of this new coming year and just take it from there. I mean, I came one spot short of qualifying. I think that was back in 2013. Sometimes I'm like, geez, I just really like to be at home for once. And my friends are like, what the? Like, come on, dude. And then I'm like, hang on a sec. You know, this is like the best life. But yeah, I'm just going to keep doing it for as long as I can, and I love it. Fun. Nomadic lifestyle's good.
Stay with us, because when we return, we will head to Israel with Mark Occhilupo and Creed McTaggart in Billabong's video series, Relax. And don't forget, everything you've seen on today's show and plenty more can be viewed online 24/7 at mySURFtv. Welcome back to the show. Right now, we're going to pack our bags and head off on a surf trip of a different kind. Join Mark Occhilupo and Creed McTaggart as they find waves and much more in Israel.
Peace, 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 no boat.
Oh, he's on the camel, he's looking for some waves.
What is this?
Did he say, what is this?
What is it? Where's the waves?
Okay, say sababa. Sababa.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the show. Unfortunately, that's all we got time for. Don't forget, everything you've seen today, plus plenty more, can be viewed online 24/7 at mySURFtv. I'm Ronnie Blakey, signing off from the North Shore. We'll see you next time. mySURFtv is powered by Surfing Australia and Nudie.